mercy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Appleton Room in Jubilee Hall. I'm Dr. LaTanya Rogers. We're so pleased you're here. On behalf of the Honors Program at the university, thank you for joining us. We are proud and excited to have our second installment of the Revis L. Mitchell Distinguished Scholar in Residence Lecture this afternoon, presenting Mr. Roland Martin. As a contributor to TV One, CNN, and owner of New Vision Media, Inc., a media company, Roland Martin is an intense businessman with a compelling voice on contemporary affairs, most notably on political affairs. His show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, focuses on news, analysis of politics, entertainment, sports, and culture from an explicitly African-American perspective. It is the first show of its kind to stream live daily worldwide. Martin has been named 4 times by Ebony Magazine as one of the 150 most influential African Americans in the United States. He is also 4-time NAACP Image Award winner, including twice being named Best Host. He continues to make appearances on various news outlets such as MSNBC and ABC News. He provides daily commentary for iHeartRadio's Black Information Network. With no further ado, I'd like to reintroduce to some and introduce to others Mr. Roland Martin.
All right. All right, y'all. First of all, why y'all sitting way back there? This ain't like church. Y'all gotta move up, move up, move up, move up, move up, move up. Y'all sit way in the back. Y'all sitting back there. Y'all trying to tiptoe out of here. I'm like, y'all, ain't nobody up front got COVID. Nobody got the cooties. Y'all, leave it up, leave it up. Leave it up. Yeah, more natural light is fine. Y'all, come on up. All right, let's see who we got in the room. I'm gonna start here. We're going that way. We're coming to the back, coming forth. Where are you from? Your classification? Go.
Hi, my name is Zaria Lee. I am from Cleveland Heights, and I'm a graduating senior.
My name is Andrew Hendricks. I'm a senior in computer science major from Berkeley or National University. My name is Kevin LeGrand. I'm a political science major. I'm a senior in Los Angeles, California.
I need everybody to project so folks in the room can hear you.
I'm Yari Walton from Chicago, and I'm a junior.
Hello, my name is Essie Robinson. I'm a freshman at Nigeria.
From where? Got it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Thompson II. I'm a sophomore psychology major from Mobile, Alabama.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joyce Johnson. I am a sophomore special education major from Atlanta, Georgia.
My name is Jim Senior. I'm a computer science major from Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm Dr. Robert. My current position.
Oh, we heard none of that. We heard none of that. Okay, I ain't hear you say you Dr. who? Dr. Spencer from Augusta, Georgia. All right.
My name is Kennedy Anderson. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Be more.
I'm Eric Street. I'm a freshman from Rockford, Illinois.
Hi, my name is Andrea Taylor. I'm a freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm majoring in biochemistry.
Got it. From where?
Memphis.
Memphis, Tennessee. Got it.
My name is Ryan Holder. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
I can hear your keys more than I can hear you.
My name is Mariah Holder. I'm a freshman. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm a biologist.
All right.
Hey, everybody. My name is Veronica Holmes, and I'm a freshman from Memphis, Tennessee.
My name is Naomi Titus. I'm a junior from Oliver, Tennessee.
My name is Eunice Bonded. I'm a freshman and I'm from Nepal.
Nepal? Cool.
My name is Alyssa Christian. I'm a freshman chemistry major from
everyone. My name's Jasmine. I'm from Gallatin, Tennessee, class of 23, and I'm a history major.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Patterson. I'm a history major from Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, then. All right, you snuck in late. Who you? Who you? Where you from?
My name is Mari Warren. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a senior special education major.
In the back? I saw you.
Hi everyone, my name is Amber Scott. I'm a junior biology major from Sugar Hill, Georgia.
Sugar Hill, Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, all right then. Y'all do sugar on your grits? Who's team sugar on grits and who's salt and pepper on grits? Huh? You don't like grits? Where you say you from? How you from Memphis and you don't like grits? Girl, you need Jesus. All right. Well, I do sugar on grits, and I don't give a damn if you don't like it. That's your problem. You ain't the one eating them. All right. So, glad to be here. And so there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I am a little bit tired. I was at the Astros game last night in Houston. Damn, baseball game too long. I was like, yo, this 4-hour game. Come on, I could have played 18 holes of golf. But flew in this morning, and then I'm out to D.C. tomorrow, Indianapolis Friday, and I'll be at Game 4 in Atlanta on Saturday, hit L.A. on Sunday. So it's a crazy busy schedule coming up, but it's all good. It's all good. So we were discussing what we talk about, and so I want to talk about social media. So I'm gonna start this way, because last time I was here, I met several students. Folks had YouTube channels, and you got all these phrases. Everybody's a YouTube star. People, social media influencers, and so who in here actually has said or they desire to be a social media influencer? Anybody? Okay. Some of y'all lying. But okay, go ahead.
I don't even desire to be, but I think a lot of times when I act, I've been told that some of the things I do, like, I should become one.
Okay, so if someone says you should become a social media influencer, what does that mean? What when you hear the phrase social media influencer, what does that mean? No, you first. Then I'm gonna go here. Then go here.
Well, somebody that has, and you're obviously impacting whoever is different platforms, social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Right, those are platforms.
Yeah, but
What does the phrase social media influencer mean to you?
to me, it's a person who has the who's able to impact anybody that follows them, or even people that don't follow them.
Got it. Here. Yeah.
I was going to say that a social media influencer probably has a more outgoing personality, not necessarily just around other people, but they're able to talk to a camera and empathize with you through that form of media, so that you relate to them, and that's how they gain following and get respect from people.
Right here.
Me?
Yep.
Someone with a strong media presence or online presence that can influence others.
Got it.
Someone took me back in the back, but somebody who has a likable personality.
Okay.
That can attract the camera.
All right. What else? Anybody else? Anybody? Just throw it out. Go ahead.
Someone with followers. A lot
Got
of
it.
followers.
Anybody else? Anybody? Don't be afraid. Don't worry. I'm going to call on people. All right. So, I absolutely hate the phrase social media influencer. I hate it. I despise it. Like, absolutely despise it. Because what you have now is you have people who now see that as the aspirational thing to be. Okay? And the problem with that is true social media influencers are already doing some shit to be an influence. Like, I get it. I get there are people who are posting about makeup, fashion, shoes, cooking, and folks have followers. But the percentage of people who are actually making money, and that's a real living, is so small, but everybody thinks they can actually do that. It's sort of like people you went to high school with. Well, first of all, you start elementary. All these folks who have aspirations to be a pro athlete. Elementary school, junior high school, college. Further you go up, the percentages greatly decrease. And so those who are in the NFL, that is the top 0.5% of the best football players in America. So if that's the top 0.5%, 99.5% of the people who aspire to be a pro football player ain't never gonna be a pro football player. Ain't gonna happen. There are people right now who are social media influencers, who are broke as hell. Oh, they fronting. They're fronting. They're literally renting a plane for an hour to take pictures, to post, to present a lifestyle that's not real. Because so much of social media that you have to understand is psychological. How many of you have seen the Netflix documentary called I think it's called The Social Dilemma? Is that what it's called? It's called The Social Dilemma, right? Okay. Okay, raise your hand if you've seen The Social Dilemma. Okay. So about half of it. All of you, every person in here, everybody who's watching the live stream, and we're live streaming this on my OTT channel network, Black Star Network, download the app, also on YouTube channel and Facebook. You need to watch this because they break down how these social media platforms are designed to affect everything about you psychologically. It's about forcing you to fall for, oh my God, I've got 200 likes. Oh my goodness, how many views this got? Because what they're doing is they know they're feeding off of the narcissistic personality that many of us have because people are seeing us and they're watching and they're responding and we're waiting, we're double checking 30 times a day to see how many people are being liked. My twin nieces are 17. So they are the first generation born into a social media world. Meaning there was no before social media for them. You're the last generation that actually can say that. That before, when you were born, there was no, where social media was not ubiquitous, where it was everywhere. And so, that's a whole different view. You see the stories now talking about the impact on young men and young women when it comes to weight, when it comes to their clothes, when it comes to all those different things, how it's impacting folks and suicidal thoughts and tendencies, bullying, and how class, because everything is being driven by that. So what we have now is we have this thing that we never really experienced before, and frankly, if you are a baby boomer or you're Gen X, you really don't fully comprehend what it means psychologically on a person when your entire space, your entire peer group, everybody is operating in that world. I mean, it is rare to find the person today who's not on social media. The person who doesn't check, who doesn't care, who don't give a damn about posting stuff. And so, because we live for it. It's amazing to me how many times you've been places and you'll be at a concert. And normally you're at a concert, you're there to enjoy the concert, and everybody is like this here. They can't actually enjoy the concert because the whole time is this, then it's this, then it's, okay, let me post it. I was at it's like Dave Chappelle hates it when folks do that. And Chappelle really got that from Prince. So Chappelle, when he showed his documentary in the Tribeca Film Festival, it was an after party. And Dave then got into the booth with the DJ. And all of a sudden, man, phones came out, folks were pulling up. He said, stop the music. He's like, hey, he said, the motherfucker not here, they weren't invited. They don't need to know what the hell we doing. So that they ass wasn't invited, they can't partake in the party. Turn that shit off and put the music back on. He said, you were invited. Enjoy the moment. 2011, I was at NBA All-Star game, and I had gone to a party Diddy had, and it was crazy. People were trying, it was like all this drama outside. Never even got inside. My wife was like, look, this is my damn nerve, let's go. So, plus she's like, I'm hungry, this is pissing me off, okay, whatever. So go get something to eat. Then we want to pull to McDonald's. I get a text message. Sean Robinson. Sean said, yo, you want to come to a party at Prince's house? I'm like, hell yeah. Okay, who in here knows who Prince is? I'm just checking. Earlier today, I said, who's Biz Marquis? And literally one student in the whole damn room raised their hand. I was like, who the hell am I talking to? A bunch of aliens? I was like, well, y'all bust here from another planet? So we used to go to the party. Now, it was crazy. It's about 30 people there. It was not like one, you're not thinking like it's 500,000 people. No, he always did this. And it was nuts. It was nuts. DJs playing, also about 3 a.m., people start coming out. They put on a full-fledged, straight-up, no holds barred concert at 3 o'clock in the morning for the next 3 hours. Crazy. But you couldn't tell nobody. Prince had signs all around the house. Absolutely. No photos, no videos, social media. Put this in your memory bank. Now remember, I sent one tweet. I was like, now I cannot tell y'all where I am. But if I did, your asses would be jealous. So I didn't say nothing. It's about 6 months later, Sinbad. Y'all heard of the comedian Sinbad? Just checking. So Sinbad sent this tweet out. He said, man, I was at Prince's house over the weekend. He said, you left scuff marks on this dance floor. Because y'all, I'm a dance. I ain't got no problem dancing. I don't give a damn what nobody think. I don't care. Because when we was at the house, when you black, you don't walk in nobody's house and you don't speak to whoever the house is, because then you get cussed out. Like, I couldn't even go to my grandmother's house. My grandmother's like, don't you walk in this house and not speak? She's like, I won't play that. Matter of fact, we had to kiss her. She got mad when I kissed one of my aunts before her. I was like, damn. She's like, they all come after me. I was like, all right, cool. So I looking for Prince, didn't see him. I was like, well, hell, music playing, I'm about to go dance. So hell, I go dance. And all of a sudden, this little dude walking behind me, he was like, you're welcome to my house anytime. And I was like, appreciate that. I went back to dancing. I was in the groove. We were in the pocket. And so he told Sinbad, he was like, oh yeah, he was dancing at the crib. And so I was like, well, hell, since Sinbad tweeting about it, I guess we can not talk about it. And so it was a fantastic time. But his whole point was, enjoy the moment. And many of us actually miss the joy of the moment because we're trying to document everything to put it out there for folk who not even there. So what we have now is we have this whole, just this entire industry, and advertisers are throwing after all these different people, and people are now getting the hook up, and it's like, oh, I'm an influencer, and they're sitting here, and they got them taking trips and giving them all different things. But see, here's the crazy part. The people who are the influencers don't even realize how they're getting pimped. You're posting stuff for people, and they sent you an item that maybe cost them $40. And you are sending it out to 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 or more people. And you're making that company hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you got a free item. Now, yes, remember I said that 0.5%? That 0.5% of the people who are charging significant amounts of money. The 0.5% of people who are actually making real money. And let's be clear, there are people. There are people who are making real money as social media influencers. But 99.5% of the people are not. There was a story a couple of years ago about all these YouTubers, people who had hundreds of thousands of subscribers who were broke as hell because they were trying to live a life that really was not the life they should have been living. So with that, what I keep telling people is, how about you do something with a career and then use your social media to drive that. See, that's a real influencer. The people who do nothing, who have no talent, other than posting a photo in a bikini or posting a shot of your abs, I'm like, that's it? That's your talent. Like, everybody today is an Instagram model. And they broke. I don't know how many, is Fashion Nova sending everybody free clothes? Because I'm like, damn, all y'all? What has happened is we now have people who literally are going to college who don't want to don't want to have real careers, who really believe the career is to be a social media influencer. And I'm sitting here going, but why would somebody listen to you? Look, the only reason, and this is being real, Kim Kardashian is known today because of a sex tape. That wasn't talent. That was screwing. Ray J. Now, she's taken that and now has launched businesses, other lines, all this sort of stuff. But that's literally how she became a household name. A sex tape. She's the only one who's done it. Now you got your Paris Hilton. She's a rich girl. Reality shows. Now you got OnlyFans. They got all this sort of stuff. You got all these different things out here. But the problem is people are looking at the 0.5 and going, that could be me. And many people out here are like all of those wannabe NBA players who never made it to the league. Some who were great college players were not good enough to go to the league. And so we really have to redefine this idea of social media influencer. I look at some folks and I'll hear the phrase and they'll say, ooh, so-and-so, social media influencer. And I go, they got 45,000 Instagram followers. Who they influence? And the person's like, oh yeah, like they're really popular. And I go, I got 622,000. Last I checked, 45, 622,000. Who are they influencing? What you have to understand is that the phrase social media influencer really is about the one demographic that advertisers care the most about. There's really two. 1835, 1849. Because advertisers know, based upon market research, that that's the generation that is easily persuadable. They can market to you and you will switch what you drink. You will switch what you wear. You will switch what you eat. They know that. 49 plus ain't happening. Now here's the thing. 49 plus got way more money than y'all. But they're not easily persuadable. So this entire ecosystem is built on changing your mind to go from this product to this product. And what I want everybody here to understand, that is not a career aspiration to be a social media influencer. There has to be something behind it. It's just like, I've had people come up to me for years and they go, I want to do what you do. And I go, what do I do? The person goes, I want to give political commentary on television. And I go, okay, why should anybody listen to you? I was a political science major in college. I said, that don't mean shit. I said, you don't know shit. What? I'm like, you were taught theory. What do you know? I said, if you're put on television, why should somebody listen to what you have to say if you have nothing to actually offer them other than you got a sheet of paper? And then they were like, and I said, so you want to do what I do on TV, but you want to skip what I did to get on TV. That is the fundamental problem. You can't be enamored with the bright lights and, oh my goodness, people stop you in airports and you get to hop in the front of the line at the club. You ain't got to wait in line. All the accoutrements of success, and act like you can skip all of the stuff that led to that. See, I can see. Again, I love that people talk about influencers. I can't take what happened on Saturday. Brother was a singer in Houston. Did a segment on my show. It was a go lay down. Y'all heard the TikTok thing, go lay down? It went all around. Y'all studying that damn hard? Okay, there was this sister. She did this song. I'll play it for you. Y'all probably, when y'all hear, y'all probably know. So she did this song called Go Lay Down. And black folk they just took that whole thing away. They started doing their own versions. There was one brother, he dropped a beat behind it, and it was just all kind of stuff. See if y'all remember this here. Let's see, we got connected. Let's see here. It was pretty hilarious, because again, this thing just took off like crazy all around the country when it happened. And so the brother, here's what happened. So what he did was, so here we go. See if y'all remember this. Okay, so you remember? Okay, so the sister was first singing. She just did a video, and she just thinks she's about to take a nap. And she just starts thinking, go lay down. I know y'all think it's crazy. That thing went crazy all across TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and other people start doing their own. They start doing duets. They start putting together different versions. It was like a gospel version. So this one dude is a producer. He put together, he did his own beat. He then put it out on TikTok and then said, okay, anybody out there, y'all do a duet with her singing with my beat. And so that produced this. He like, I see some of y'all like, I see y'all like, so the dude who's singing, his brother named T-Dash, he's out of Houston, okay, so this thing was crazy popular. I had all three on the show. I had the sister who started it, her voice at the outset. I had him on, and the brother did the beat. So Saturday, T-Dash, he posted on Instagram that he said, all my followers, I want y'all to spam Anthony Hamilton and Tank, because I'm going to the concert. I want to meet him. Okay? So I saw it. So I hit Dash. I said, he was on my show, but my staff had him. I said, yo, send me your number. I said, I'm going to text Anthony. So I texted Anthony Hamilton. Anthony hit me back. I was like, yo, this brother's at the concert. Here's her backstory. Love to meet you. Hope y'all can connect. I hit him back. I was like, Anthony's going to hit me back. Later that night, he posted on Instagram. Anthony shouted him out from the stage. Got to meet him backstage. Got to sing for him. And we talked the next day. He was like, oh my God. He said that was just unbelievable. He said, thank you for doing that. Now, here's the deal. his followers posted stuff, but none of his followers had Evan Hamilton's phone number. Okay? That's a social media influencer. When you have the relationship, the work creates the relationship. And that's where so many people are. They want to skip over the work and they want to get right to the influence part without realizing that the work is what makes you the influencer. If you are trying to be a chemist and that is your profession and your knowledge base, you want to impact people based upon your knowledge and your expertise, not based upon your nails. Now that's fine if you have some creative nails, and that's fine if you post a lot of different photos, and that's fine if you create a nail business and folks are buying it. But the reality is that's still that 0.5%. That's not a job. It doesn't sustain itself. Because see, here's the deal. You can be a woman who's an IG model, and let me be real clear. It's a whole bunch of other fine sisters who doing the same thing you doing. It's some brothers, you can be fit with the muscles in the ass, but you are not going to be the only one. So the competition in that space is going to be fierce, and don't put on 10 pounds, your shit is over. Because it totally changes. And so, then you got the crazy people. I saw the story in the New York Post. Some woman in Florida, it's always Florida. It was always my home state of Texas. If you look at, if it's a crazy story, it start in Florida. If you ever see a crazy story, start with, gotta be Florida. And if it's not Florida, choose Texas second. Guarantees it'll be one of the two states. This nut is posting photos. Now, again, she's a social media influencer. She's referred to as an IG model. Whatever the hell. Why is she taking photos at the funeral of her dad in front of the casket? No. Posing. Y'all, Google it. Google IG model and dad and funeral. Watch what comes up. She taking a photo. Yo, the casket is right behind her. The American flag, her daddy was a veteran, is on the casket. Her followers lit her ass up. They start unfollowing on TikTok, IG. You cannot find her Insta. You see the story. You can't find her IG page because she got rid of it. That's when doing social media influence goes wrong. Okay? But you have to ask yourself, how did that happen? Because the world of the social media influencer, you're not thinking logically. You think everything is a photo op. And so what is important is for you to decide, what's my career? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? And that, to me, is having a real career with substance, and you use social media to augment what you do. So the people out here who are doctors and who are nurses and scientists, how they have been using their social media to educate people on coronavirus. Then you got these TikTok doctors and these YouTube scientists who are now putting all kind of stuff out, don't know nothing, just didn't spend any time in medical school, they ain't never treated anybody, but they breaking down the truth about the vaccine. And the problem is, we're in the middle of a misinformation, disinformation crisis because people are going, oh, but they make sense. Because we think that somebody who speaks in an authoritative voice, man, they sound smart. No, they dumb. But people are literally falling for it, and they're investing their time and energy into it, and it's causing even greater problems. And so what I want you to encourage you to do is say, okay, how I'm on social media, but how am I using it? And what am I using it for? And for some people, look, they on social, look at other people's stuff. Cool. They're not trying to worry about posting stuff. My daddy don't post nothing, but he read everything. My daddy called me. That's some bullshit that person wrote. I was like, "What you talking about?" Well, yesterday, I'm like, "You read that?" My dad watched the news all day, read everything. I mean, so he up on everything. He will not comment, but he's reading it. So people are doing these things in different ways. But what I want you to think about totally different is not trying to make that the goal. Because, one, there is absolutely no retirement plan for the social media influencer. That thing, you could be hot for 3 months, and all of a sudden, nothing for 9 months. And then what it does, now you've got to be more, the woman with the casket, more outrageous, more, because see, it's all driven by the likes, the clicks, the hearts. That's what's driving it. It becomes a feeding frenzy. But there's no substance behind it. So when people tell me, Roland Martin, social media influencer, I go, no, I'm a journalist who's on social media, who uses social media. Don't put me in the same category as them. And that is so dangerous now, because when that becomes your mission, what happens when it's done? Now what? Now, what you gonna do? What's gonna happen with Casket Girl? Account, dead. I saw, I forgot, I read the story. It's some sister who does hair and makeup on YouTube. Brittany, Elena, I don't know, she black, she biracial. And she made some comments about her mama's nappy hair. Man, they've been eating her ass alive for the last 2 weeks. She makes a comment, I can't help my mama at all with that bad hair. Y'all, it's been rough for homegirl for the last 2 weeks. That's so, remember, her entire currency is her social media following. She makes that comment right there, thousands unfollow her. They're not coming back. That's the only reason we know she even exists. And so, let's not get caught up in that world, because that world simply isn't real. It's not real. It's not substantive. It doesn't do anything for you beyond that gratifying moment. If you're able to build a career that's based upon something real, then you can actually have an impact and truly influence people. And see, then it cuts all both ways. Because the problem now is, let's say you do have a real career. Now the problem is you got people who some get mad, why you posting that? I had some dude yesterday, man, I can't believe you a man and you post selfies. And I said, I don't follow your ass. Try it. Feel free to unfollow. I'll replace you today. Now, I'm real petty. If you say something to me, I'm going to hit you back. I don't care about your feelings. I'm going to hit you back hard. That's what gets me when they come on your page and then they say something, when you fire back. Why you got to be so mean? Did you skip your initial comment? I said, I just returned fire. You came at me, I came back at you. And so these people come through this whole deal, and then it's the whole, I don't like you posting about sports and food. I'm only here for the news. Go somewhere else. Can I tell somebody? It's my page. I ain't never gone to your page to tell you what not to post. So, no, I'm not following your orders. And then because, and look, I know some people who don't like some well-known activists who post when they are at parties or events, they're like, oh, you're trying to be a celebrity activist. No, I just happen to get invited. And so people are so nitpicky. They're so personal and catty with it that they're making all of these different judgments. And so you have to make a different determination in terms of how you use it, how you successfully use the platform, and how you can actually impact people. I dare say, if you're able to if you're able to use the platform and weaponize them properly, and you're able to touch people and educate people, to me, that's real influence. When people come up to me and they say, I knew nothing about politics before I started watching you or following you, and they say, I learned so much, that's what you want to achieve. You want to be able to provide something where somebody says, following you actually helps me learn stuff, know stuff, and build stuff. And that's just what's important. That's just what's important. You know, and you look at what, and when I say, you got to be very careful because there is power in what you disseminate. I'm very cognizant of the power of media because I said this for years. Anywhere in the world where there is a coup, they get control of the military first and media second. Military first, media second. It used to be they would take over the newspapers, the radio stations, and TV stations. Now, they either shut off social media or they limit it. And so that's the power of it. And when the medium is that powerful, when you can post one thing and can cause a chain reaction, you must be very careful how you wield that, how you use it, and understand before you hit send, who am I talking to and how am I conveying a message to them. And that's something that is vital. I mean, look, you see this thing is happening right now at Howard University. The impact of one tweet, one post, could either tell a story or it could cause people to believe a lie. And so we are very good at complaining about stuff, but is the basis of what we're saying, is it rooted in truth or is it rooted in I'm pissed off? I mean, do understand, you can cause somebody not to come to Fisk because they saw your social media post. You could have a bad experience and not tell the full story of what happened. And somebody said, man, you saw that? Because here's the other piece. You don't know how it gets picked up and amplified. One person sees it, man, did you hear what they said? This, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, here. All of a sudden, that thing goes all around. And now people are like, oh my God, what's going on? That's the power of the medium. And so you wield it properly. So I was at Howard on Monday talking to the students and talking to the administrators. I've got students that are saying, no, these problems are up and down the board. They've been happening for years. You have the administration who's saying, no, we've had X number of complaints. We fixed these particular problems here. It's all trying to get at, okay, what's the actual truth about what's going on? And so students are protesting now on their third week. Why has that thing spread so fast? Because the administration wasn't responding. They basically let the students control the narrative. That's how the whole thing is spread. And you see these protests in other places as well. It happens in other places. You should know that because the history of this city with the Nashville movement. Raise your hand if you know what the Nashville movement is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Last time I did this here, I'm giving y'all some homework. You cannot be a student of this university in this city if you do not know anything about the Nashville movement. Type it in your phone, write it down in your computer, Nashville movement. When you hear about some of our greatest civil rights workers, they were trained in the Nashville movement. Look up Reverend Dr. Jim Lawson, leader of the Nashville movement. Go to my YouTube channel. Look at the interview I did with Reverend Dr. Jim Lawson. How many of you saw the funeral of Congressman John Lewis? How many of you remember the eulogy Obama gave there? How many remember the one Jim Lawson gave? Go watch it. Lawson's eulogy blew away Obama's because Lawson trained John Lewis. In fact, we'll talk about how you use social media. Once you do that, make it a point to educate your followers and your fellow Fisk students about the Nashville movement. There is no way you should come through this university. And if you leave here and somebody asks you about the Nashville movement, you say, I don't know. That can't happen. The beauty of that movement is that when SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, who knows what that is? Second homework, go find out what SNCC is, please. SNCC, when they launched coming out of Shaw University, North Carolina A&T, lunch counter for freshmen. That thing spread like wildfire across the South once they heard what happened at A&T. Social media has the exact same impact today. What happens at Howard all of a sudden can then be impacted across other universities. What happens at Fisk now could go out based upon the information that's going out. So when we talk about social media influencer, that is the power of the medium. And so I caution you to be very conscious of what you say and how you say it and how it's then perceived, because that thing could take off and have unintended consequences, and you were like, I just posted a photo, not realizing how that thing could be taken from somewhere else. And so to me, that is how you think about being a social media influencer. That is how you think about using the platform for good as opposed to what we're seeing right now. And again, I post all kinds of different stuff. And for the people out here who are able to get paid $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for a post, that's great. But straight up, if anybody thinks that that's a real career, it's not. You can catch lightning in a bottle, but it doesn't happen all the time. Make the effort to build a career and then be able to create and use social media to sort of advance the knowledge that way. Questions? What you got? Right here.
You talked about social media in terms of how it keeps us from enjoying the moments that we have, important events in our life. Would you say that growing up without it, you understand more, or not it? Let me see what I'm trying to say. Or how has it further increased and like let you spread it towards other people?
Oh yeah, got it. So, but look, it's prior to social media, you didn't have direct access to your fan base. You didn't have direct access to people. You couldn't, before you would have to write a letter to the editor, you would have to call into a radio station. There were gatekeepers. There was no direct access to a platform. That was the problem. Now, there are no buffers. On the platform, you can go direct. You could create a fan base, a chat room. You can create a clubhouse chat room. You all of a sudden, man, you're communicating instantaneously with people all over the world. That's the difference. And that's why I'm saying you must use it wisely and consciously because of that particular impact. Because you can spread something. Before, you had checks and balances that existed. Now, you must have self-checks and balances. Earlier, I talked about truth and making sure that before you send something out, it's right. Now, there's the rush to be first. Somebody dies, it's like, oh, I got to get my photo out with them. Did you check to see if they actually passed away before you put it out there? And so that's sort of where we are. But there's nothing, I'll take that back. I won't say there's nothing compares to it. Every generation that has had a new medium has had the exact same thing. So when radio came along, you had talkies. When radio came along, the ability to be able to communicate to people globally, meaning outside of your own area. They would do it in a town, in a city, in a neighborhood, now across the world, totally changed music. Then movies, then broadcasts, then cable. It all began to change. So you've had these moments. This is different because there were limitations to those. If you want a radio station, the wattage of the station limited your reach. Now, I mean, literally, here we are on the campus of Fisk in Nashville, streaming this conversation, and somebody in another country is watching it right now. You never had that type of instantaneous reach globally as you have right now. And that's the difference. What else we got? No, y'all ain't shy. You, then you.
My question is really like, have you ever had difficulty with trying to keep up with the different media that's coming along? Like, I know you have a Twitter, you have Instagram, you have like all those, like, so.
I've got Twitter, I've got Instagram, I've got Snapchat, I've got TikTok, I got Tumblr, and I got my own OTT channel, and I got YouTube, and I got Facebook.
Like, what made you decide, like, TikTok became really a big thing. It's been out for a minute, actually, but it became a big thing last year, 2020. So what made you, like,
Got it?
like get it, like, once you finally, like, I should probably get this and to go?
Yeah, I don't hop onto a platform just because. I remember when Vine was hot. I said, I'm not making no damn 7-second video. I said, this shit is a waste of my damn time. When Snapchat came out, folks like, man, you gotta get on Snapchat. No. Why? Because you couldn't save the content. See, for me, right now, Clubhouse is hot. This shit's a waste of my time. No. I want you to think about this here. So I'm about to have an audio conversation and spend an hour or 2 hours and 3 hours. And then when it's done, can't nobody go back and replay it? So I've just given 3 hours of my time. And if somebody goes, oh man, that conversation, man, was hot last night. Really? How can I hear it? Oh, you can't. Because they don't have a replay. So for me, I've always judged the platform by how can we create the content, but then it can be archived. It can then be followed. So until Snapchat changed their deal to where you could save, then I said, okay, cool. Instagram was the same way. See, everybody forget. Instagram was down there like Vine. It was 15 seconds. I said, I'm not doing shit 15 seconds. Like what? I'm not doing that. Your platforms, oh, the post is live for 24 hours. Why am I about to do that? Because the business that I am in, first of all, if I'm saying something and somebody goes, man, that was great, somebody didn't go back and listen to it. So that's how I judge other platforms. The only reason I got on TikTok, I want to get on TikTok. Now, I love dancing. I don't give a damn about these challenges. I don't care what my niece is doing. No, I'm not doing a video with y'all asses. It's not going to happen. Right? All that. We ain't doing all that. No. I know some people who are practicing for 3-4 hours. For 30 damn seconds. Hell no, I'm not. No. Ain't going to happen. I'm not about to sit here and practice for 3 hours for a 30-second video. Why? Because it's the views and the likes that's driving you. That's great. Y'all can sit here and go, I ain't doing it. No, I ain't going to happen. So what happened was somebody was watching the interview that I did with white supremacist Richard Spencer. And so somebody recorded 2 minutes of the interview and they put it on TikTok. And I blew up like crazy. People would call me like, oh my God, your interview with white supremacists is like on file on TikTok. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I ain't interviewed no white supremacists. They're like, no. The one from 4 years ago. Right. It was 4 years old. I was like, they sent me the link. I was like, shit, that was 2017. And they were like, oh man. But again, now, what did I just say? They were actually watching YouTube, recorded on their television, put it on TikTok, and all of a sudden, it got 500, 700,000, million, whatever views. So imagine if I did something that never was recorded. You can't replay it. So that's how I sort of judge platforms. How am I able to use a platform to communicate to my audience for them to be able to go back and see it? So I don't do any platform where the content disappears. That's literally just a waste of my time. I might pop on Clubhouse. When I first started, I was on, and I study the platform. I go through and I want to study how the platform works and how you use it, how you can sort of maximize it. I don't understand how in the hell they're gonna ever make money, because for all the talk about, oh my God, somebody, I think one night, it was like, it's 5,000 people in this room. I can go live on any platform, and all of a sudden, we can have that number. So why am I going to do it on the platform I can't save anything? And more importantly, why am I going to do it on the platform to make somebody else money? See, that's the other piece right there. Yeah, the one I get paid the most on. No, seriously. Again, here's what, and I got to say this, especially for black people. We, especially all you are watching, we have made a lot of non-black people rich. We are early adopters. We over-index on PDAs, pads, phones. We over-index in every category. We watch more TV than anybody else. We stream more than anybody else. They love us as consumers. We're in first place over who watches the most television. Second place is so far behind, it ain't even funny. I'm talking about black people watch TV in excess of 50 hours a week. Yes, pull up the Nielsen study on African Americans. We, on average, watch more TV than a full-time job. Go to the Nielsen report on African American consumer habits, and you will see we have been number one for years in watching the most television. So we're excellent at making other people money, not at making money ourselves. Now, yes, you get the platforms, TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, and of course, this is the media ecosystem, doesn't value black content. No. They don't want to monetize black content, but they value content to drive their valuation. So we have to be smarter as it relates to where am I going? So I loved it when, which one of the albums Beyonce dropped? And they were like, oh my God, none of us knew. She was like, cause that was the point. And it blew up, folks were downloading like crazy. When you reach that point, Prince was that way. Prince kept telling everybody, stop doing record deals. Do distribution deals. Own your masters. Own your content. See, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it because we have to be honest about it. One of the greatest problems that we as African Americans have is we absolutely believe in white validation. Now let me unpack that because it's important. I need you to understand what I'm saying because I need you to see when you do it, understand how we do it. I've had people come up to me and say, man, when are you going to get you a show? This is when I have my TV One show. I said, well, I got a show. No, I mean a real show. Like CNN, MSNBC. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not real. Because they viewed it on the black network as not real. We do that as well when we are so, well, they saw it. Okay? Luther Vandross was desperate for a crossover hit. I mean, I remember reading the story. He wanted a crossover hit. He wanted the white audience applauding Luther. Luther became rich from black people. And if you listen, go listen to the Give Me the Reason album. It's a whole lot of treble in that album. Little bass. The album was constructed to be a crossover album. When you say crossover, that means white audience. The beauty of Tyler Perry, and I don't care if people don't like Tyler Perry or not. Tyler Perry's whole deal is, I own an island in the Bahamas, I own 2 planes, I own my own studio, and black people made me rich. Tyler Perry has no interest in crossover. Tyler Perry don't care if nobody white watches stuff. He says, I'm going to serve this audience. Why am I saying that? It is because that has been, because we were denied, it literally created in our minds there's something that's different and greater over there than what we actually have. Negro Leagues. If you hear a conversation about the Negro Leagues, first of all, listen to the phrases. That was the Negro Leagues, and that was the Major Leagues. Okay, so I want somebody. So let's do breakdown of those phrases. If I say there's the Negro Leagues, there's the Major Leagues, what am I actually saying?
So far.
Right, the word itself. When you hear Major Leagues, what does that mean? Anything else is minor. The greater talent was actually in the Negro Leagues. The reason it was called the Major Leagues, because they had better uniforms, better stadiums, better lighting, better travel, better food, because it was white owned. They had the money. But it created this whole, they're locking us out of the Major Leagues. there was this desire. We are going to prove we could play with them white boys. That was the whole deal. Totally understand it. Got it. Jackie Robinson goes to the major leagues. They then begin to all of a sudden accept black talent. What happened to the Negro Leagues? Collapsed, disappeared. So, bring back this whole social media deal. So what's happening is we are taking our collective talent and we're bolstering these platforms. And they sitting back, the TikTok dances. What happens? The system is showing itself. Black people are creating these TikTok dances. White girl recreates the TikTok dance. Marketers call her. She ends up on Jimmy Kimmel, on Ellen, on these shows, but something she never created. The platforms are literally making that happen as well. But we sit here and go, yeah, but we want to be on it. So what we do is we are excellent at giving away our intellectual capital, our intellectual property for a like, a heart, and then go, well, why am I not getting paid? That's why what I've done. You take, and again, this ain't just, look, I had my TV One show. Every show on Oprah's own. Publicists hitting me up, wanting them on my show. And I was like, okay, came on my show, having them on. And I said, y'all taking any ads out? Then I told one of the publicists, I said, okay, you know what? I got one ask. Y'all got to set up an interview between me and Oprah. I'm talking about, you go through all the shows. Finally, I said, I ain't having no more own shows on my show. They were like, what? I said, no. See, follow me here. So my show is good enough to promote your talent, but you ain't good enough to set an interview up with me and Oprah. I'm good. Y'all can come on my show. Netflix. All these publicists sending me stuff trying to get on. I was like, y'all ain't bought not their ad. So if my show is good, if my audience is good enough to promote to for free, then it's good enough for y'all to pay. Y'all buy media elsewhere. Right now, black people are just giving away our eyeballs to stars. We watched Power, Survivor's Remorse, Power 2, Power 3, BMF, P-Valley, I go down the line. Now ask this question. How much has Stars spent on advertising in black-owned media? So we have to be even smarter with content. Where are we placing our content? How are we benefiting economically from our content? Or are we continuing slavery without shackles? Where we are building financial success for somebody else's platform and we're actually doing it for free. That is what is happening right now with us in the social media. And that to me is crazy. Question? Yep.
Yes. So my question.
How much longer?
Last question. My question was, being that you're a part of Gen X and we're Gen Z, aside from the social media aspect, is there any other major difference that you see? And is there anybody?
Oh my God, yes.
Is there anybody currently, like with that social media following, that you kind of see yourself in them?
So let me deal with the first part. You really are doing this wrong. You ain't supposed to turn the whole tripod. You're supposed to turn, see right here? See, right here?
It's on Instagram Live.
Right here, first of all, Why? How many people watching your Instagram right now?
This is on your Instagram live.
Why? My guys are already streaming it. So why are you streaming it?
I didn't stream that.
He's already on. Now here's the whole deal. Let me show you something right here. Okay, see this right here?
Yes.
See that button right there?
Yeah.
That just turns the camera. You moving the whole damn tripod. You asked the question right there. Okay. I said this earlier. When I was in Atlanta, I was talking to this sister. She's a judge. She had a sister who was working for her. She was a millennial. She's like, Judge, why you always talking about millennial? She said, because y'all do millennial shit. I died laughing. I was like, okay, that's a good joke line right there. Now I was talking to Doc earlier this year. This is the greatest, and it's actually not your fault. This is the greatest difference between baby boomers, Gen X, and millennials and Gen Z. The ability to think. Not consume, not repeat, not memorize. Think. And when I say think, I'm talking about thinking your way through the problem to the solution because you can't YouTube and look up everything. I'm talking about studying people or studying movements, listening, learning from being an observer, then applying it. I've experienced this in numerous settings where, what just happened here? I'm having a conversation with my production guy. Young sister, Howard graduate. While we're talking, she goes, while we talking, she's sitting over there and she's like, she's going through stuff. And I'm like, what you doing? She goes, oh, you were talking to him. And I said, oh, so you didn't think there was anything that you could learn from listening to the conversation to apply to your craft? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I want you to put your phone down and literally sit there and listen to us talk and learn. What happens, and I'm telling you, my nieces, one who works with me, exact same thing. Why does she have early on, because before I cussed out numerous times, why was she missing things in the control room? Because see, show's going on, tension goes away, grabs her phone, not watching the show, not watching the movement, not anticipating the move, not being in the moment. And so our education system, what it has done, it has now trained a second generation to study and memorize, not to think. I'm gonna throw this out. Y'all tell me, has this happened? How many times have you been sitting in the classroom and the professor has asked a question and no one in the class says anything, and instead of doing this, I'm waiting for one of y'all think through this question, the professor gets frustrated, they don't want to wait, and automatically goes right to, let me just go ahead and explain. Here's how I teach. Y'all sit that tripod up. We doing it right? Nope. Well, how we do it? Figure it out. Because, let me be clear. And tell me if I'm wrong. Your parents didn't force you to think. How many just did it? Raise your hand. Something happened where, and as opposed to, figure it out. Child, move aside, let's go. That's one of the biggest mistakes. So what then happens? When you now come into college, now you're going to the workforce, when problems arise, can you think your way through the problem? Can you, I get graduates in media who go, I tried to get in, but they wouldn't let me in. And I'm like, the goal is to get into the room. Yeah, I know, but they won't let me in. Okay, the goal is to get into the room. Okay, well, they're not going to let me in. The goal is to get into the room. When I say that, what do I mean? You have to figure out what the hell I got to say, how I got to say it, how I got to articulate it. I got to figure that out. But typically, the only way you learn how to do that is you have been to one and observed and watched and studied it actually happen. I've had this conversation with numerous people in numerous fields all across the country who say what we have today, millennials and Gen Z today, are extremely smart. Know a lot, know a little about a lot, but don't know enough to be able to fully execute. And it's the thinking part. When we were at TV1, they were like, Roland, you keep saying the same thing about the staff. I said, and what I've been telling y'all for 3 years. I said, my greatest frustration is they don't think. And so I want you to think about that when you leave here. I want you to become observers amongst your peers. I want something to happen. I want you to sit back and I want you to sometimes just observe the conversation. And I want you to see if they're actually thinking through the problem. As opposed to, man, let me look this up. See, I totally get, let me look up, figure it out. Raise your hand, how many of you actually read manuals? Like, read it. Not peruse it, not read the quick guide. See my hands going down? Why? See? So, why am I asking that question? Yeah, just throw it out. Why?
Because it goes back to the thinking your way through the problem. You can't learn if you don't actually take the time to figure out what you're trying to do.
And studying the thing. I was talking to one of my folks and I said, can you use this camera? She's like, oh yeah. I said, no. You know how to turn it on. You know how to hit record. You know how to zoom in. I said, but have you studied the camera? Have you been intimate with the camera? Have you gone through each one of the functions and known the audio function, and this function, and this function, and this function? I said, so if something happens in the field, you know how to immediately problem solve because you've actually gone through all of those steps and actually done it, and most have not. That's probably my greatest, and again, I've raised 6 of my nieces. Oldest 25, youngest 17. And it drives me, and I drove them crazy because I would force them, no, read the manual. Don't just crack the box open and, no. Read it. I was in, and see, a function of this, how many of you were in band coming through? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many were in choir? I'm talking about school, not church, school. Elementary, got it. Why is that important? Because when you had a musical background, before you could play an instrument, you had to read your music. You would literally sit there, set your music up, and you would read your music. Meaning, you would play your music in your head. You were studying your music. Then you would grab your horn and then begin to play. You played it here before you played it here. I played cornet elementary school, bass, baritone, horn. So, luckily, because of my music background, and my grandmother owned a catering business. I did it since I was 7 years old. We didn't just, okay, we're going to the wedding. No. Okay, they got glass dishes, plastic, silk flowers, real flower, candelabras. What kind of candles they're going to be using? Globes, owl runner, what kind of greenery, which greenery we're using. I've probably done 300 weddings in my whole career. Then you talk about reception hall. So it was process. It was also understanding how to pack. She had one large van. Sometimes we had 3 weddings in one day. We had to pack the whole van. We had to know how to pack. So it's thinking. It's visualizing. How many of you truly practice the art of visualization? What do I mean by visualization? What does that mean?
The ability to see a problem and manipulate it mentally such that you can put all pieces together before you even get into the situation.
Got it? What is that? Who else raised their hand? What do I mean by visualization? Yeah.
Kind of like that, to see the outcome of a situation.
What else?
You plan out all scenarios in your head before they happen.
Precisely. What else? Go ahead.
Thinking about
Turn it around. Turn that way.
thinking about any potential obstacles that could go wrong and what you might do to overcome it.
So what I'm talking about there is, and that's everything. That's literally the interview, the conversation. How this happens. What am I going to say? They're going to respond this way. I'm going to respond this way. I'm going to respond this way. What if this happens? You literally are visualizing the entire deal. That's also part of this think process. And that's why I have spent enough time encouraging teachers and professors. They've got to move away from read this, memorize this, lecture this, but to force the thinking and to force students to actually go through the exercise on the spot of having to figure it out. The training is important as well because obviously when you get to that particular moment, you've already gone through all of that. But you're also observing and watching someone. That's the greatest thing. And so, and see the danger comes in. It's like you take this device here. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who do not understand literally the functions of this. How many people I grab their phones and they go, "Oh, I didn't realize I can change my video settings from 30 frames a second to 60 frames a second to 4K." No, they literally did. They were like, I just shoot. They're like, not understanding any of that. I think I said this last time. I want y'all to go look at, even if you watch it for 30 minutes, there's a movie on Netflix called High Flying Bird. Write this down. High Flying Bird. Steven Soderbergh directed that movie. Steven Soderbergh directed that movie with 2 iPhone 7s. This is a feature-length film. He directed the movie with 2 iPhone 7s. Google Steven Soderbergh making movies with iPhone and see some of the stories. I watch that movie literally once every 3 months. Because I'm watching it not for the content. I'm literally watching how he did it, how he created it. I'm watching camera movements and angles, high, low, all different things. And I read this one story, it's pretty interesting. So when you're shooting a movie, if you're walking this way, they want the camera to be on a track. And so the camera's going to pull back this way. Well, the problem is, you're rounding the corner to go that way. So they would have had to shoot this scene, stop, take apart the track, move the track to this direction, from here to this direction, and now shoot the scene. So he said that would have been 3 to 4 hours to literally shoot the walk this way and this way, 3 to 4 hours. They shot with the iPhone. You know how they shot it? They put him in a wheelchair. They put him in a wheelchair, and they pulled him back in the wheelchair. And then when they came to the corner, he came this way. Person went that way, then they pushed in a wheelchair. He said it took 45 minutes. Now, you may say, but why does it matter to you? Because literally, how can I apply that to what I do? And you may not say, I'm not in media, but think about that process of you reading that story and going, damn, that was pretty interesting. You're like, do the wheelchair. So imagine now, whatever line of business you're in, how do you now think creatively about whatever you're trying to do? And you're going through that. So that's the thing. There are some folks who are doing some great things with media, but they're editing and visuals. There was this one brother. It was crazy how he created his own Sprite commercial. That was, I'm talking about, I actually sent it to an executive at Coca-Cola. I was like, y'all need to hire him. It's unbelievable. So there's creativity and imagination, but that's only, somebody posted a little white kid, like 5. Dude was working Pro Tools. It was crazy. He was recording himself, and I'm watching, I'm kind of like, killing it. Because obviously he had been exposed to the pieces at an early age. The last piece that in my profession, what I keep cautioning anybody who's Gen Z about is you can know how to use this. You can know how to use this. You can know how to post it. But do you know how to create the relationship with somebody to the point where you can then pick the phone up and call somebody instantaneously, using the Anthony Hamilton example. If there's the one thing that I've said to most young media folks, they don't have contacts. Because they haven't figured out the sweet sauce of how do I connect with you? And how do I talk to you in a way where you go, take my number. Or you be sure to call me. Because you can know the technical piece, but what separates me from all the rest of these cats is that when something goes down, when a major African American passes away, Sister Tyson, the news came down while we were live on the air. Maya Angelou, we're live on the air. I'm going to close with this one here because how it all comes together. Somebody tweets, oh my God, Maya Angelou's died. Social media is always killing people off. Roland, is this true? I check one source, 2 sources, 3 sources. Again, thinking. We're in a commercial break. It's 3 minutes. I went to national sites, and I said, let me go to the local news outlet in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I went to a TV station. The story wasn't up, but they had a live feed of a police vehicle sitting outside of her home, and they were waiting for other cars to arrive. I said, she's dead. We were 20 seconds coming back from break, and I said, scrap the rest of the show. Maya Angelou has passed away. I said, pull the photo up, change the breaking news graphic, come and get my phone, and begin making phone calls. In 20 seconds. They were like, what the hell's going on? We scrapped, so here we put together this whole 2-hour show, threw this show completely out the window. For the rest of that show, we're booking guests live because I can call Andrew Young, I can call Susan Taylor, I can call all these people directly who knew my Angela. Imagine I could shoot, I could edit, but if I don't have the phone numbers in here, that doesn't happen. And that's the other piece, that's where the relationship comes in, which goes to how do I talk my way into that room? How do I connect with somebody? How do I meet somebody and I'm communicating with somebody? Those are the soft skills that cannot be Googled, that cannot be looked up on YouTube, that you literally have to experience with someone and watch how they do it and how they move and how they. Have you ever studied somebody who worked a room? You ever studied somebody who worked a room? I'm talking about watch them like, damn, how did they? I did it as a student. We go to the Black Journalists Convention. You know when they have a banquet, when they would say, okay, it's time to eat, everybody would sit down. That's when I would stand up. And I would start on that side of the room, and I would literally weave my way through the entire room. And I would work the entire room. By the time it was over, I'd already gotten to the other side of the room. Then I'd come back to my table, then I would eat. Everybody else was seated, that's when I pounced. But that's understanding how to maneuver in the space. Real quick, yeah.
So maybe this is not related to your topic, but so when you get your foot in the door and you have these contacts, how do you know how to go about building and then maintaining that relationship
Right.
with them?
So here's the deal. Okay, so real quick. The mistake that we make is we see relationships as transactional. When relationships are not transactional, they're relationships. Something may come about as a result of the relationship. Something may not. They may invest in your company. They may not. You may never approach them. You simply have the relationship. If you start off, I'm getting this out of her, it's going to be a hard relationship. Because she's going to be able to smell it. She's going to be able to sense it. And those people who do it with me, they're complete turnoffs.
So then what if you don't know, like initially you really don't need anything from them? How do you know?
That's how you shoot every relationship. That's how you start. Again, it's a relationship. Relationships start off small. One of the things that I do, and some people, you don't bug them, you don't call them, you're not blowing their phone up, but also it's how you stay in contact with them. Birthday, anniversary. Oh man, congratulations on that award. I haven't sat down and did an interview with Regina King, but over the last 4 or 5 years, Regina's been blowing up. Congratulations, whatever. Not pestering her, not whatever. So when I see her, she knows me, I know her, we talk, whatever. Relationship. I went to see Tyler Perry on the red carpet. Hey, Tyler, what's going on? Quick conversations. My TV One show got canceled. We're shooting an election deal. And all of a sudden, I'm in makeup. I get out, my phone ring. Unknown call. I answered all calls. It was Tyler Perry. Man, I'm sitting there watching your stuff. He said, dude, you're the only voice we got. Please tell me you're launching something. Since your show got canceled. I said, as a matter of fact, Tyler, I am. And then I get to tell him, he's like, man, I'm so glad he's here, independent. He said, man, lock my number in. This is February 2018, January 2018. He's locked my number in. We've talked, we've texted, all this sort of stuff. Later that year, and mind you, this is January. I get asked to be on the board of directors of NABJ, in February. I wait a month to accept. I'm in our first board meeting. They sitting around talking about, here we are 4 months away from the convention. We don't have a major keynote speaker book. I was like, y'all ain't booked anybody? Now, we in a board meeting. They all chatting back and forth. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I text 3 people. Tyler's one of them. Within 10 minutes, I locked him in as a keynote speaker. That wasn't why we connected. And it wasn't, hey, I need this from you. I simply offered. But it's the relationship. We communicated a lot since then. You don't abuse the relationship. Somebody hits me up, man, I'm trying to reach Cornell West. Yo, Cornell, somebody wants to reach you. I don't hand out cell phone numbers. I get pissed. I am pissed when somebody gives somebody else my cell phone number. That shit pisses me off. You ask, can I give somebody? I've had people call me like crazy, and I'm like, damn, I'm going to block your ass because you calling too damn much. No, seriously. So the relationship, it's sensitive. You have to cultivate it. You have to nurture it. You must take time with it. You don't abuse it. You don't harangue someone. I don't care what it is. And then all of a sudden, then that time may come, and it may not. When there's an ask, it might be an ask of you. Light ask, medium ask, heavy ask, it all depends. But you've invested enough time and energy into it where that person would say, no problem. So I'm launching this show called Roland with Roland on my OTT network. When we go to LA, I don't call publicists. I don't call business managers. I call the artists. Michael Ealy goes, what are we talking about? I said, I ain't decided. He's like, okay. Michael didn't say, yo man, send me a car. He was like, where you shooting? Here's the address. All right, I'll be there at 11. That's literally how it happened. Glenn Turman, Richard Lawson, Johnny Gill, Michael Collier, Jack A., Bill Duke, Laz Alonso, Damaris Lewis, Guy Torrey, Matty Rich, Sherry Shepard, Dondre Whitfield, Sheila E. All booked direct based upon the relationship. That's how you do it and why you do it. That's it.
Thank you all so much for coming. If anybody would like to ask any further questions, I imagine he's available for a few more minutes.
All right, folks. Now we're going to sit here and stop the stream.